Making a decision about which supplies to purchase for your journaling can be overwhelming because there are so many choices out there. You might wonder, what's wrong with using any notebook or any pen that you can find in the house? That's totally fine, but imagine finding the perfect supplies that suit your journaling practice right from the start, which makes it easier to begin your journaling practice and continue journaling effectively and enjoyably. This way, you can focus on the substance of your journaling rather than dealing with trivial obstacles that could prevent you from being consistent. Today, in this video, I'll answer the most frequently asked questions about journaling supplies and help you feel confident in choosing the supplies and tools you need to start journaling. I'll also share my specific recommendations for notebooks, pens, stickers, and other supplies, and the reason why I recommend those. With the information and knowledge I'll be sharing in this video, I'm confident that you'll be able to figure out which supplies are best for you depending on your unique style and situation. Then, without further ado, let's get started. I understand that choosing the right supply should never stop you from starting a daily journal. However, selecting the right supplies can help you stay motivated to journal consistently, which is so important. With that in mind, when it comes to choosing a journaling notebook, here's what I look for: paper type, superb paper quality, aesthetic design, and undated pages. Before I go on, I should first mention that I'm currently using my custom designed journaling system with an A5 6-ring binder as an alternative to notebooks for my daily journal. The following recommendations are based on my experiences after trying various kinds of notebooks over the years. As for the paper type, I recommend dotted grid paper over other types of grid for the following 3 reasons. Number 1, a dotted grid is gentler on the eyes than lined or square grids. While line grids are best suitable for neat handwriting and square grids are perfect for drawing tables, a dotted grid strikes the ideal balance, providing the versatility without being distracting. Number 2, it offers both structure and flexibility. The dots act as a guide to keep your writing neat while still allowing room for creativity when you want to draw freely. Number 3, I personally find it the most aesthetically pleasing than other grid types. If you're not confident in your handwriting and wish to improve as you journal, I recommend using the lined paper. It's easier to practice handwriting when there's a clear line to follow. Paper quality is another important aspect I consider when choosing notebooks. Among many notebooks I've tried over the years, the ones I've enjoyed the most are the A5 dot grid hardcover notebook from Leuchtturm 1917 and the 8x8 square dot grid notebook from Archer and Olive, primarily due to their superb paper quality. The notebooks from Archer and Olive offer the thickest and heaviest paper I've tried so far. If you're a fountain pen enthusiast like I am, you'll appreciate how the ink doesn't bleed through to the other side of the paper. Additionally, since the paper fibers are tightly woven, you don't have to worry about the ink feathering either. Leuchtturm 1917 has been my favorite even before the bullet journal trend began gaining significant popularity around 2015. If you're looking for a paper that isn't too heavy but still offers premium quality, Leuchtturm 1917 strikes a perfect balance. It also features subtle page numbers, which I think adds a nice touch to the overall layout design. How important is the design of a notebook? While there are many functional and technical aspects to consider, you can't underestimate the importance of design and aesthetics. If the notebook you're using is aesthetically pleasing, you're more likely to pick it up frequently, leading to a more consistent and enjoyable journaling practice. I prefer notebooks with timeless and simple designs. I try to visualize which colors and designs will bring me joy whenever I see them on my desk. Green is one of my favorite colors because it reminds me of nature, so as you can see, I prefer a cozy and warm vibe in the designs of my notebooks, like these ones. In terms of beautiful aesthetics, notebooks from Archer and Olive capture my attention the most with their lovely, timeless leather covers and touches of gold foil designs both inside and out. Rifle Paper Company is another brand that I really like. They have a unique floral designs that always captures my heart as I'm into florals. I always stop in my tracks whenever I see their product lines. Do you prefer notebooks with a closing mechanism? I always prefer a notebook with an elastic band closing mechanism since I don't want the inside pages to flap around and get damaged when I carry my journal. I prefer closing mechanism that doesn't interfere and obstruct my writing hand when writing a journal. I think that's why I usually end up with an elastic mechanism. This is my personal preference, so you might want to try different options and see which feels comfortable and looks nice to you. To add a personal flair to your notebooks, I enjoy adding gold foils of inspiring quotes and florals to my notebooks. If you're interested in trying gold foiling yourself, you can check out the video where I explain the process step by step. Another important aspect of choosing notebooks is that I prefer those without pre-printed dates. I used to use dated notebooks for a while in the past, but I always ended up skipping entries, resulting in large empty pages, which ultimately made me stop using them altogether. While dated notebooks often seem fresh and new, and it's tempting to start a new one at the beginning of each year, I've learned that they don't quite work for me. That's why I designed my own undated journaling pages and use a date stamp instead. This way, I feel freer in my daily journaling without feeling obligated, which on the contrary helps me to enjoy the process and stay more consistent. Are inexpensive notebooks okay to use? As for the cost of notebooks, keep in mind that the most expensive options aren't necessarily the best. When choosing supplies, I focus more on whether they align with my journaling purpose and personal style rather than on brand names. At the same time, I wouldn't want to be too frugal when investing in journaling supplies, as I know I'll be using them for a long time, and the benefits far outweigh the cost. Now, let's talk about pens. I've mentioned a few times in my previous video how Zebra Sarasa pens are one of my favorites for daily journaling. Recently, someone asked me a great question in the comments. Do these pens smear? And do they feather when liquid drops on them? So I decided to give them a quick test. As you can see, the ink dries pretty fast as you write, even when I rub the side of my palm right after writing. So with a moderate writing speed, I've never had an issue with smearing. And for the sake of experimentation, I tried dropping a blob of water on the writing. The writing remained perfectly fine. It didn't smudge at all. Personally, I love using pens with thin controlled strokes, which allows me to write neat, clean handwriting. Some people might argue that it's just a private journal, so why does it matter if the handwriting is good or not? However, I found that when your handwriting is neat and legible, you're more inclined to revisit and reflect on what you have written in the past more conveniently and effectively. This is important because taking the time to skim through what you have written is one of the significant benefits of journaling. That being said, I like using a variety of colors to make my journal easier on the eyes. These vintage colors are my favorite for journaling. Another pen worth mentioning is one from Muji Stationery. This pen also offers a thin, controlled stroke, and what I like about it is its lightweight feel and minimalistic design. I also enjoy using fountain pens, although for daily journaling, I would go with the ones that I just recommended previously, which helps me to keep my workflow smooth and simple. However, if you would like to add a touch of joy to your journaling practice, a fountain pen is definitely worth exploring. There are plenty of brands and price ranges to choose from, but for beginners, I recommend starting with either the TWSBI Eco or Lamy Safari. Both are quite affordable and still provide a premium quality writing experience. As for the fountain pen inks, I've collected quite a few, and so far, my favorites are Jock Herbon and Pilot Iroshizuku ink lines because they offer beautiful, vivid, saturated colors. Even when you write very thin lines, the ink maintains its intensity and clarity and doesn't become too watery or faded. I often use these markers to highlight lines in my journal, making it easier to spot key points when I skim through what I wrote later. For highlighters, I recommend the dual brush pens by Ohuhu and Stabilo Boss highlighter pens. Do you know how highlighters can sometimes create blotchy layers of darker colors when you go over the same spot? With Ohuhu markers, no matter how many times you layer the color, it remains smooth and clean. I also enjoy using Stabilo pastel highlighters because their unique brush shape feels very stable when I hold it, and the chisel tip is the perfect size for my need. Not too narrow, not too broad, as you can see here. I especially love their cozy pastel tones, but I found that these pastel colors look best for highlighting over writing when used on white paper. Using stickers in journals can be a bit controversial. While some people enjoy turning their journals into almost aesthetic art pieces, others prefer a minimalistic and simple approach without using any stickers. In my journaling journey, I've been on both sides, once swayed by the idea of making my journal look artistic, and later gravitating towards a more minimalistic style. As I focused on making my journal a tool for personal growth and transformation, I gradually stopped decorating it with stickers. I mentioned in the previous video that I was deeply into bullet journaling, which eventually led to be more like an art journaling style. Currently, I use stickers only when I feel it's necessary to highlight something meaningful. When I revisit past pages, I find that stickers help me to recall moments quickly with visual cues. When pages are filled entirely with lines of text, I find it challenging to revisit and read old entries unless I make a concerted effort. Maybe it's just me, but I like to use the stickers to serve this purpose. So this is how I incorporate fun elements like stickers and washi tapes to add a different flair to each day's spread. I intentionally try not to spend too much time on it, but my goal is to keep my journal neat and make it easier on the eyes to spot important points. The stickers I'm currently using are from Journal Say. They reached out to me and kindly offered a discount code you can use. If you're also into botanical and aesthetic stickers, you'll find tons of beautiful selections at Journal Say. If you're into more of a cute stickers, Hubman and Chub Girl is the one I would highly recommend. It has tons of cute characters and themes. Sometimes when I feel like I want to add more of a character to my journaling pages, I enjoy using these lovely stickers. If you're interested in incorporating stickers into your journal and finding the ones that suit your style, then all the links are in the description below. As you can see, I'm a stationery lover. I enjoy experimenting with different pens and other stationery items, and I admit I can sometimes get carried away. However, I intentionally try not to let these distractions overshadow the primary goal of journaling, which is self-growth and transforming into your ideal self through the practice of journaling. If you're hesitating to start your journaling journey because you're unsure what to get, I hope these recommendations in the video and the rationale I've shared will help you move forward. If you have any questions about journaling practices or supplies, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And also, if you have any other notebooks or pens you would like to suggest that weren't mentioned in the video, please share them in the comments. This is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.